My name is Paul McKelk, Chairman of the Board of Health. Let me introduce the members that are here. We have Sue Regera, call present, please. Bob Wheeler,
Aye.
and we have Donna Trailer with us.
Yep.
Okay, and Bill Brookings.
Present.
Okay. Not sure if we're going to have any anticipated speakers on the agenda, possibly for the hearing, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think Jack Maloney is going to be here from Dillison Roy for that. Yep.
Okay, and that would be right around 7:30. Okay. With a quorum of the Board of Health present, I call this meeting to order at 7:03 on January 21st, 2021. The open meeting of the Berlin Board of Health is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. Specific information and general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with a right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Berlin website at www.townofberlin.com. In order to mitigate the transmission of COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in the publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of the public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely, provided reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. While no in-person attendance of members of the public is permitted, every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are able to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the town's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. The standard public comment portion of this meeting will accommodate limited public comment. For this meeting, the Berlin Board of Health is convening using the Zoom platform as posted on the agenda, identifying how the public may join. The public is encouraged to follow along during this meeting using posted agenda unless I note otherwise. Supporting materials that are available this evening to members of the Board of Health can be made available to the public by request. We'll now turn to the agenda. I'll introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, I will invite each member of the board to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until I yield the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in conversation with each other, please do so through me, taking care to identify yourself. To the extent that our technical capability allows, public comment will be permitted during the public comment portion of the meeting as follows. Attendees' phones and other devices will be muted unless and until they raise their hand and are recognized by me to speak. I ask each member of the public who wishes to speak to identify their name, and I will afford each speaker time to ask a question or make a brief comment. And with that, we can get this meeting going. Going by the agenda, I believe the first thing is a tobacco license.
Yeah, this is number 9 of 9. So we've had pretty good compliance this year, time-wise. So that's North Liquors, 264 West Street.
Okay.
And I had drafted that earlier and Paul has signed it. I was just holding it for tonight's meeting before we release it.
Okay. No, anybody, any issues with that? Should be straightforward.
Nope.
Septic upgrade, 39 Walnut Street.
Yep, so we've got a plan from Ross Associates. It's got the usual list of variances for an upgrade. So, normally we go out 2 meetings, which I think is February 16th at 7:30. If that works for people, if people are available that night, we'll get that hearing notice drafted and posted.
All right.
Is that the old Nor property now Sawyer?
No, it's Mr.
Oh.
Farabee.
Fairbase,
Dennis.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Dennis. Yeah, okay.
So that hearing is what date, Bill?
We're gonna do that on February 16th, 7:30.
Okay. And you have the plan from Ross?
I do. Haven't reviewed it, but I certainly will by that meeting. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I got the variance letter and the plan. That's what prompted the request for the hearing. Yep.
Okay. Lot 3, River Road West.
That's one of the Rich Caselli lots. He's requested an extension. This permit was issued in 2017. The Berlin board gives it 2 years, which would be 2019. He had requested one extension, which gave it its 3rd year, so it brought it to 2020. And now he's asking for that 4th year that Title V allows, which would bring it to 2021. But I think the potential buyer already transferred this permit, and when he transferred it, also extended it. So if that's already been done, I'll just get Rich a copy of that permit. If it hasn't been done, he's asking for that 4th year from the board.
What was the number, Bill?
This is lot 3.
Yep.
It's going to be street number 253 River Road West.
Thank you.
So, nothing's changed. Regs haven't changed. Soil testing is all, as we found, decent sand and gravel. Oh, actually, this lot, oddly enough, didn't have sand and gravel. It had a 23-minute perk in what we call the sandy loam soil with modeling at 4 feet. So apparently on this lot, they had removed the gravel. That area has been mined, so
Yes.
no gravel left on this lot. But still, nothing's changed that would affect, the status of this permit if the board sees fit to extend it.
Okay. Anything new with Highland Ridge?
Yeah, I did have a chance just today to look at the revised plans.
They just came in today, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm
What's
gonna try to also share them with you.
Yeah, if possible, I had the engineer zip them over. If Sue can try her talent at screen sharing, we'll see. But
I
basically,
got them, Sue.
Yeah, I emailed them to you. I'm trying to figure out how to bring them up.
Okay,
while Sue's looking at that, I can certainly describe. I met with the engineer after the initial submission, had quite a few comments. These plans address most of them. I still have just a couple more tweaks, but I feel comfortable enough. I've drafted permits, so if the board sees fit, I'll sign those permits. And more importantly, they are asking about building permits. So I talked to the state, and they're far enough along with the well approval, so they're okay with building permits being issued. And I would say that I'm far enough along with the plans that I don't have a problem with building permits either. I think there's a couple of units. So there you go. A couple of units are being proposed, and also I guess they want to start on the clubhouse. So there's 5 sheets to this plan. So I don't know if who wants to just scroll through each. I can kind of describe.
All right, here's the top one is the first sheet.
Yeah. Why don't we look at this? This is your overall layout. There's basically 3 sets. There's at the lower left is you see the clubhouse, and you see what's labeled septic tank 1, pump chamber 1. The clubhouse, and actually I got the unit numbers right here if you want a reference. Let's see.
Okay, with that screen share, I can hear you, but I have no picture, so I'll be with you in a minute.
Just click on your little blue Zoom thing. It should pop up. Paul, down on the bottom, something, it's blue. It looks like a little movie camera inside. Try clicking on that.
Little movie camera, blue, I don't have.
Billy,
Yes.
the only issue I had was looking at those plans was, what, is it normal to have a 2-inch, force main back to the system,
Well-
from the tanks?
Well,
Or is that-
basically, that's a, again, it's a forced main. This is a, all of this effluent's gonna be pumped. So, 1.5 inch, 2-inch forced main's not uncommon.
Okay, thank you.
All the pipe in the street, the main is gonna be an 8-inch PVC
Right,
with manholes, and then the service connections to each unit will be a 4-inch PVC tying into the 8-inch. They'll gravity to 2-compartment septic tank, and then to the pump chamber, and then they'll pump to the, you see that circle, there's kind of a manhole that's going to take all
Yes.
three force mains, and that will then charge the Presby beds, which they're not shown, but those are already inspected, installed,
Mhm.
and signed off.
So 2 inches not is normal.
Nope, no, it's all based on the pump calculation, the distance
Yep.
of the run, the engineer runs all that to determine, what diameter is gonna work.
Certainly, thank you.
Mhm. So Sue, I don't know if you want to go to that first sheet again up at the top that shows the overall site. And then each sheet beyond that is kind of a blow up of a certain section. So I don't know if it's easier to describe it looking at the big layout or the individual plans, but septic tank 1 and 2, I'm sorry, septic tank and pump chamber 1 in the lower left of that plan. You see the clubhouse, and it will also take care of units 31, 32, 33, 34, and 53 and 54. So that 6 units in the clubhouse will be served by this 3,000 gallon 2-compartment tank and 1,500 gallon pump chamber.
And those are enough, right, Bill?
What's that?
Those are plenty enough volume, or,
Well, yeah, each tank and pump chamber are a different size based on the number of units they're handling. A 2-compartment tank, the first compartment has to be twice the daily flow, and
Yep.
the second compartment is once the daily flow. So each of these units is charged at 150 gallons a day because it's an over 55 development. So, you just take the number of units times your 150, double it for your first compartment, and then, just that value alone for the second compartment.
okay,
So so I've issued permits for septic tank 1 and pump chamber 1. And then I think if we go towards the right of the screen, you'll see septic tank 2 and pump chamber 2 next to that 30,000 gallon cistern, which it's not labeled, but I'm pretty sure that's for fire suppression.
hmm
So that is serving 18 units total, 35 through 52 is what that set of tank and pump chamber will be handling. And again, that pumps to that common D box adjacent to the existing beds.
With a project like this, is there any requirement for these tanks to be extra heavy duty, or are
I
they
think,
just standard construction?
The pump chambers are specifically called out H20. I can verify this with the engineer, but I think once a tank gets like 3,000 gallons plus, it's automatically H20. These are heavy duty.
Right, okay.
Yep. They're solid. They're thicker pores. They're a better product because just due to their size. But I can verify that with the engineer.
Yeah, that would be worth a detail worth verifying, I
Yep.
think.
And then in the center upper plan, you've got the last 2 tanks and common pump chamber. Yeah, perfect. So you're doing a great job there.
Yeah, Sue.
Uh,
Oh,
we've got septic tank 3 is handling 24 units, and that is a 11,000 gallon 2-compartment tank. And then you see septic tank 4 is handling 18 units. So basically at that upper road, the left side is being served by 4 and the right side being served by 3. And again, the size of the tank is just based on the total number of units it's handling. Those 2 tanks then feed a common 8,000 gallon pump chamber, which again then pumps 2. So there'll be 3 force mains. There's 3 pump chambers. They'll all run to that common D box and then to the splitter box and then to the Presby beds themselves. So I don't know if you have any specific questions.
Is this the largest Presby system you've dealt with, Bill?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was
Yep.
gonna say.
Yeah, I've never seen one this large. This is actually the maximum gallons per day that Title V gives us jurisdiction over. It's the magic number, 10,000 gallons a day. If it was a gallon over, it would be a treatment plant and it would be in the state's hands.
And how many units is this? Is it 63?
This is 66. If you do the math, 66, 66 units times 150 gives us 9,900 gallons. And then they give in the clubhouse 100 gallons, and that gives us our magic 10,000 gallons.
Wow.
Clubhouse only gets 100 gallons, huh?
Yeah, I think they might have called it, 5 gallons per day per 20 seats. I mean, again, it's not really there to hold a function per
Right.
se. It's there to be used by the folks that live there. So you can kind of say, gee, they're either using their own facilities or they're using the clubhouses. I don't think it's not really viewed as an increase or a large outside flow other than the residents, I think.
Does Presby have any special documentation or anything for a system of this size?
Yeah, once you're over 2,000 gallons a day, the company has to actually review the plans themselves, and that was done under the previous owner when the Presby was designed. Yep, and approved. And actually, we actually had if you recall, not only did Presby review this plan, I reviewed this plan, but because it's over 2,000 gallons a day, we also had the board requires an independent third-party engineer to look at it also.
What about any follow-up monitoring?
They're going to have to produce some type of operation and maintenance plan, as things get closer to sign off. But there's no inspection required because it's a large Presby, but because it's a condo system, it does have to be Title V inspected every 3 years.
Maybe I'm confusing it with a different technology, but I thought a few years ago there was a system that went in on Randall, not far from the Flat Penny, that required some sort of annual or
Yep.
biannual.
I think might have been Granville has a fast unit. That's an active
Greenville,
treatment
yes.
system. Yep.
Oh, it was fast.
And
Okay.
that might start off with quarterly or twice a year monitoring, and then if that testing shows that the system's performing as it should, you can request to go down to once a year. But yeah, the active treatment system, BioClear, Fast, any of those have to have a 2-year contract at all times.
Okay, but not Presby.
No, Presby's viewed as a passive treatment system, so it's
Okay.
it's really a leaching area without stone, but it also it claims to afford treatment, but it's just the fact that it's not a conventional stone system that gives it that innovative and alternative definition.
Got it. Okay. So you need something from the board relative to building permits, foundation permits?
Well, if you're good with these permits, again, I'll be talking to the engineer about these last few tweaks, but I can take care of signing the permits and getting the fees and signatures I need. And then obviously, because the state's okay with the well, and if the board's okay with the septic layout, I could, get onto Viewpoint and start them moving on I think they've applied for at least 2 to 3 building permits, but they've been on hold until this plan was approved.
Okay, any comments from board members, please?
I am actually good.
Bobby?
I'm good on it. Thank you.
Okay. I guess we can move forward, Bill.
should we make a motion, Paul, or?
Probably worth doing to record it properly, yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we pass the permits for Ridgefield,
Highland Ridge.
Highland Ridge. Thank you, Paul.
I will just amend that a little bit based on Bill's continuing conversation with the engineers and his satisfactory, his receipt of satisfactory answers to any remaining questions. That's all.
Yep, on a site like this, you've got your public water supply wells, again, with a main in the street, and then services to each unit. So because sewer lines and water lines cross, for example, both sewer and water lines have to be pressure tested as a requirement of Title V. So, that's just the type of stuff I want to make sure, myself, the engineer and the installer kind of meet before they start doing any work. Not so much on the units, but on the infrastructure as far as sewer and water go.
Sure.
Just kind of so everyone's on the same page when they get started.
Certainly.
Does
So
this
with the
present-
caveat, with the
Go ahead, Bob.
caveats of any of our questions of our agent.
Oh yeah, the engineer's been responsive. He'll take care of that. Whatever we need out there.
Okay.
I'm sure they're anxious to get going, and we've had some mild weather so far this winter. So,
Knock on wood. Yep.
Yeah.
knock on wood. Okay, we're still a few minutes off from a hearing. Bill, Bobby, go ahead.
Could I make a statement?
Sure.
This has nothing to do with the topic we were on, but it was last meeting. I had I had a cold and all that, but I did want to let everybody know that I was tested. I went and got tested before that. I was awaiting my test results, but I think it's incumbent on anybody that has a cold or anything like that, or they're out in public, they should be tested. I think that it's easy to get tested. There's no shame in it. You should go get tested. You can do it at the pharmacy. You can do it at the, I guess, at the convention center in Marlboro, but I guess the best one we're talking about is over at the New England Sports Center. They have a testing thing going on. You can drive in. It opens at 8, I think, but you can be there at 7. You can bring the whole family, as many people as you want in the car. They test you. They get you in and out. It is great. And your results within 1 or 2 days, actually 1 or 2. And it's in, I think you can protect any elderly around you, or you can help them after you're not positive or you're negative. But I just kind of made it, might have been nonchalant about my cold symptoms last time, that it could have been a cold, but I was tested and got my results in. Fortunately for me, it was good, but I think anybody that, has symptoms, they should be tested. And I probably was remiss in not saying, get tested. There's no problem with it. You can go out there and do it. And hopefully these vaccination sites are going to be in some of the same sites as the testing. And I think it would be great for everybody. It'll strangle this virus. I just wanted to say that I might have sounded nonchalant, but I had been tested, and I wanted everybody to feel that they're safe. Thank you.
To follow up with that, I have been to the ice rink testing thing. It's very well organized. It does take some time, but that's because of sheer numbers of cars and people that show up. I got there at 5 minutes after 8 one morning, Mary and I, and it took us almost 3 hours, but it wasn't because they were screwing up. It was just sheer numbers. And, I'm going back. This was before Christmas and after Thanksgiving. And I think based on the last meeting, I think what we all learned as Board of Health members or anybody on this,
Yes,
if we show up at a Zoom meeting with sniffles, we need to include the fact that, yeah, we're being tested, or, that's the magic word, I think, for
correct.
people today. And
Mhm.
that's all that's about is, there are a lot of people who are just, they're spooked, and rightfully so. These are very strange times. So
Correct.
we just need to keep the public at ease. That's all.
Mhm.
Thanks for that, Bobby.
Good advice, Bob.
Thank you. Yeah.
Paul, I don't know if you want to give an update on our auto situation.
Yeah. Not much has happened. One vehicle has been removed and brought to Berlin Auto Service for repair. Did speak with the attorney representing the client today, and well, she has some follow-up phone calls to make. Seems to be some miscommunication of who called who, and I just told her, I said, the individual is now being cited daily, fined daily. Our concern is that he's just going to pay the fines and not do anything about his now 20 cars, because 3 more have been discovered. However, 3 of those are not on his property, so I believe we will be moving forward to remove those. I've put a call into Elder Affairs, Montechusett Elder Affairs, and left a message for that individual this afternoon. Hopefully I'll hear back tomorrow to find out what's up on that end. The next step, and when I say next step, I don't mean tomorrow, I don't necessarily mean next week, but if the citations end up just getting paid and the amount of vehicles doesn't change, then Chief Galvin will be bringing an individual to Clinton District Court for bylaw violations. And we'll see where it goes from there. At this point, we don't have anything hard and fast to take to housing court. However, if this individual chooses to pay some $600 a month in fines for storing 17 cars illegally, that may give us a little bit of an inroad to, there's something else going on here, because who in this day and age in their right mind is going to continue to violate a bylaw and pay $600 a month so that they can violate it. And that doesn't give them permission to violate it. It just gets them off the daily hook. So that's a continuing, ongoing situation. Other than that, there's no news on that.
Crazy.
And I guess we're at 7:30, so we can open the hearing.
We have Chris McKenzie. And we have, oh, I just lost him.
Jack Maloney.
I'm here.
I'm here as well.
Okay, and I saw
I'm here.
Jamison. I don't know how you got video and the other 2 didn't. But
Yeah, I just got a new video camera, so I'm still trying to figure this thing out. So
So there are 3 representatives for Sawyer Hill.
Hey,
there
gotcha.
we go. Yeah, I don't know who Eric is. Eric, could you introduce yourself, please?
I'm the property owner.
Okay.
Sorry.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Cody.
And Chris and I are from Dillis and Roy. We're here on Eric's behalf. We're here for lot number 3, or 149 Sawyer Hill Road. We are looking for 5 local regulation variances for the proposed septic system design. The first one is section 4B, groundwater testing is to be performed between March 1st and April 30th of each year. We have done out of season testing and used the redoxamorphic features to base our groundwater observations on. Number 2, section 4E, the minimum distance between septic systems servicing separate facilities shall be 100 feet. We have 80-foot separation between the proposed primary area and the abutting Lot 5 reserve area.
How many feet was that? I'm sorry, 80?
80 feet. Section 4F, the minimum distance between leach area and an open drain shall be 150 feet. There is a proposed 30-foot separation between the leach area and an open drain. Section 4F, the minimum distance between a leach area and a wetland shall be 100 feet. We have 95 feet, which includes that 5-foot overdig area. So the actual leach field itself is 100 feet. Section 5A, no sewage disposal line shall exceed 100 feet in length from the building outlet to the leach area. We have 215 feet between the house and system. We have used cleanouts or other access points at less than 100-foot intervals coming down. Do you have a plan, or do you want me to put mine up on the screen?
Well, if you're really good at putting it up on the screen, you can try.
I think you gotta kind of see the lot here.
Is this a gravity system?
It is a gravity system.
Great.
How's that? Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so let me just get this out to another view here. So Sawyer Hill Road is out here where my cursor is. And it's not really shown, but this is that proposed or the existing common driveway that comes in off of Sawyer Hill, the Plastridge property. This is one of the Plastridge lots. And this is Eric's lot, lot 3. It actually has frontage out on Sawyer Hill Road, but his driveway access will be at this turnaround at the end of that driveway or common driveway.
Okay.
So we originally had some testing that was up on the hill, and we had, I don't know if you know the story, but Mark Rhodes was in here quite a few years ago doing some testing. Negotiations fell through, and then several years later, Peter Plastridge and his sister Jocelyn and the other brother kind of jumped in again and got it going. We piggybacked onto Mark's testing for the in-season up on the hill. And we had a system designed. I don't think we had submitted it to Bill yet. And then Mr. Jansen is looking at buying it or has bought it. And he wanted to see if we could push the system down into this lower area on the other side of his proposed driveway and kind of really make use of the upper slope of the lot. As you can see, there's a sizable house up here with some grading, septic tank, and then the sewer line comes down. It will be sleeved underneath this driveway to protect it. And then we have the system area here. The open drain that we had talked about, there's a drain. It's basically a riprap ditch that comes down the side. It's open drain for the roadway. It gets collected in a small little basin here. And you can see there's a culvert that comes underneath and goes through this riprap swale down into here to this larger detention basin where it will slowly seep out and go in the ground and then eventually down to this wetland down in here. So that's pretty much it on my end. I don't know if I would imagine you'd have some questions on your end. Chris, did I miss anything?
Jack, I think you covered everything there.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me?
Bobby, go ahead.
Have you been in front of the Conservation Commission on this?
Yes, we have.
Okay,
Everything's been approved. Chris can talk more of that because he was at that meeting.
Yeah, we submitted an RDA with the Conservation Commission. 2 or 3 of them came out for a site walk. Mr. Jansen was there as well. And then we had a meeting and they issued a negative determination.
okay.
Negative
Meaning that was-
impact determination?
Excuse me?
You say a negative determination. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to clarify. Negative impact?
We submitted an RDA. So basically, they came back with a negative determination. The negative determination means that we do not have to submit a notice of intent filing with them.
Okay,
Thank you for the clarification.
Yep. There was one thing they asked that we fix up on our plan. And that instead of using hay bales as an erosion control barrier, they wanted the silt socks with the silt fence.
okay.
So we made that adjustment for them.
Thank you.
It's 30 feet between the leach field and the riprap open drain.
Correct. But we're also at an elevated system too. This is a system that's infill. As you can see by the grading between the edge of the riprap, it actually comes uphill about 5 feet or so before you get to where the trenches actually are.
Yeah, I'd prefer it went the other way, but okay. It'd be better that the drain was uphill from the leach field.
Right.
Due to gravity, but okay, that's a clarification.
So just
Sewer line length, in my mind, that's not an issue. Out of season testing isn't an issue. These other variances, this is new construction. So we need to think about it and talk about it a little bit. Why are we only 80 feet away from a neighboring system?
basically we've utilized what we had for the test areas. Lot 5 was submitted, I believe, a year ago or so. Is that correct, Bill? Plus or minus?
I'd have to check the file.
It had been submitted, and lot 3 is basically the last lot, except for the outer 2 edges. The abutters on either end of this have bought the lots to protect themselves from any development, keeping the woods in between them and development. So this is kind of we're squeezing this one in, I guess, is what we're saying down in this area. We're trying to create a more sensible septic area for lot 3. And, you know, this area seems to be a good spot for it. The grading for the system is not as, it's not as invasive on the upper area of the lot as it would be if we were to design a system uphill of it.
Which
Jack,
brings
if I
me
could
to
for a
que-
minute,
which brings me to the question, I believe your words were better utilization of the upper end of the lot. What does that mean?
Well,
Why?
in regards to grading, because if you can look at this, Paul, it's pretty flat through this area here where the
Right,
driveway is, and then we turn and start to climb this hill.
right.
So if we were to put this system up in here, I mean, now you're talking about a sizable area that we have to chase fill down that hill. And then between the house grades, the driveway grades, the septic grades, it makes it very difficult to try to squeeze all that in. It can be done, but it's not very pretty. So we figured that this area down in here would be best served by a septic system and all the grading down on that end.
Okay, let me be more specific. I understand what you said. Was there any plans for outbuildings or anything like that on that upper end?
I guess Eric, I'm gonna throw this to Eric and see what his other plans are.
I'm just wondering, is that the only reason that you moved it to where you did? Or does the owner, prospective owner, have some development plans for this upper end that he wants to proceed with?
You're on mute, Eric.
Oh,
there
sorry.
you go.
Hi. Yeah, basically I just wanted to keep the backyard open to be able to put in like a terrace, maybe a swimming pool at some point, just some plantings and things like that. And so rather than have the whole septic system back there, I figured I'd move it to the front where it's just taking up less usable space, I guess.
If I could interject just for a second here too, that area in the back would have required a pump system. The house would have had to been pulled more forward on the lot from where it is. And we had to pump up to the system out in the back.
Yeah, it's pretty steep grade.
Yeah, well, pump systems aren't prohibitive. As a board, we come from regulations and not necessarily convenience of the lot. That's why I'm pushing to just explore this thought process a bit more.
The other thought that went into this is we're also looking at Title V regulations. With Berlin, obviously is more restrictive, but from an open drain to a septic system in Title V is only 10 feet, where Berlin has the over and above rule of 150 feet. And, the other concern would be the offset between the systems, which, I mean, we have 80 feet. Title V is only 20 feet.
Well, that's true, that being said, but that's one of the things that apparently makes Berlin attractive to people who want to buy land and build here, is because of the way we handle things.
Understood.
And we don't
Understood.
necessarily cave in or go by Title V.
Nope.
We
And
understand.
I'm not sticking my feet in and trying to argue with you, Paul, because I've done a lot of work in town over the years.
I'm not trying to argue either. I'm just trying to present some
Right.
facts and rationale. I mean,
No, I totally agree. So, and this is where we're at. And I do understand your concern about, using what we had for testing. And my apologies, Chris was right. He jogged my memory, but the system was actually probably where the house is, I think, Chris.
Yeah,
And
at least
that house
maybe-
would have been pulled down into this area here with the system way up in the back here.
Right.
Just the grading for the whole site would have been extremely tough in there, and it wouldn't have made for a very good design.
just so you know, my personal feelings is anytime we can avoid a pump system, it's a good thing, because that's one more mechanical failure that can happen. It's one more cost to a homeowner, one more potential problem to the town. Just, looking at the lay of the land and trying to be as close as we can to our rules and regulations.
Nope, I agree. Yep.
Bill, let's start with Bill. Do you have any particular comments on this?
Well, Paul, I think what you said is true. Historically, the deep test hole variance and the sewer line length are ones that have been granted in the past. Jack, just a question on the Lot 5 system location, just looking at where the test holes are shown versus the sensors themselves. Even though it's designed, is shifting that system 20 feet an option to eliminate a variance, or is that separate owner? Probably don't want to deal with it, but just curious.
That lot has not been transferred as far as I know. I know that we did it. We did a design a year and a half ago, when there was somebody looking at it and they wanted to get ahead of it. But I haven't looked at it since then. I think Chris worked on it. He can probably talk a little bit more about it, but I think there's probably some room to tweak it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say there probably is. One thing I want to bring to everyone's attention, Eric included, on your plan there, Jack, if you could zoom in just below the reserve area, you see where that existing drainage easement is? That whole easement is part of what's preventing us from being able to move the system further away from that drainage area and the reserve area in Lot 5. That is in place primarily to allow for a driveway to go over to that final, what is that, Lot 4? And none of that's being built at this time, and I don't know if it is or isn't in the future. But that's part of what's shoehorning us in. That's part of the restriction that is locking us in at the location of that system, causing the 80-foot offset.
Do you,
Paul, as far as the drain offset goes, I think the board may have varied that offset to actual below grade drainage, typical catch
yeah,
basin.
I believe we have, Bill, yeah.
So, personally, an open riprap swale,
Is,
to me, it's a less defined channel for water. It's
I
open
agree,
environment.
yeah, no, that's not really an issue, just the point that anytime you can take advantage of gravity in the opposite direction, it's better.
Oh, yeah, true. But
That's
again, if a breakout were to, say in the future, there was a breakout, we'd be on it.
Well, I guess
So-
if Concom has looked at this, I mean, they're aware that this riprap drain will ultimately feed a wetland, and did they have an opportunity to look at this septic design or not?
Oh, yes,
Yes,
that was all submitted in the package.
Okay, all right,
And a site walk too out there as well.
right, you had mentioned that, okay, but they saw the plan, okay.
Correct.
That's a good thing then, all right.
Yeah, it's a pretty elaborate drainage structure and swale. I don't know, you can kind of blow that up, Jack. It shows edge of basin. When we were doing the testing, we kind of walked around that area, and I would say it's really, what does it allow water to collect and then infiltrate, I think, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So all the water runs down the side of the road, and then hits a little settling basin here, and then will dump into this culvert, which will dump out into this stone swale, and it goes overland from there down to this blue line area. And basically this is a big, I don't have the grades on here, but there's a big earthen berm right in along the side here, and the water just fills up. There is a concrete drainage structure here for an overflow. In case of emergencies, we get a couple of 100-year storms back to back that will fill up and then eventually drain out. But the rest of it from a certain elevation of this concrete structure will just settle out through the bottom.
At this point in time, are you folks involved in, or do you know if you will be involved in any design engineering on the adjacent lot?
On lot number 4 over here.
The one we're only 80 feet away.
Oh, lot 5. Not in the near future. I haven't heard of any potential buyer over there.
Actually, Jack, I actually bought that.
You bought lot 5?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just signed the PNS on it. So I guess I'm the abutter.
So what do you plan on doing with it?
Nothing
Eric?
for a while.
Okay.
It's just a buffer.
A buffer for now. If you go to build, you may want to seriously consider being 100 feet away on any septic.
Okay. Great.
Any additional comments from the board?
I'm all set, Paul.
Sue?
Not for me. I still want to hear from Bill, though. Do you have any major concerns, Bill?
No, again, this is similar to the discussion we've had on previous lots. The deep test hole soil line length are historically been approved, and with the proposed revised regs, I think those other variances would go away or be greatly reduced, at least to the drain. But again, a riprap swale doesn't really concern me that much. And again, whether there's a potential to slide that lot 5 system to make the 100 and eliminate a variance, which I know the board tries to eliminate variances when they can, that would certainly be worth a look.
Yeah, I was going to suggest, you mentioned a few tweaks. Should we continue this hearing until our next meeting and allowing them time to do those tweaks?
What tweaks?
Well, could
Personally,
could the lot 5 system be slid 20 feet to eliminate the variance, or is the board willing to consider the variance as is?
well, if Mr. Jensen has bought the adjacent lot as a buffer, and should he choose to develop or sell it, I think that's the lot that, if we okay this, that's the lot where the feet will be held to the fire to achieve that 100-foot difference.
Right, because this system would be in by then.
This system
Yep.
would be in by then. First come, first serve.
Okay,
And the arguments they've made are reasonable. We can't control how the properties was divided or any of that. So that being said, I'm okay to move ahead with the vote on this.
Considering all, I'm in favor of moving ahead with it. Seeing it has gone through conservation, which is a great plus to us.
Yep.
And him buying the other lot even lightens that load on us. I'm in favor.
all
Diane?
right. Should I make a motion?
Please, we do need a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the requested variances for trying to find the,
Lot 3,
Soy
149. Do I hear a second?
second?
I will second.
Okay. Before I say all in favor, I just want to reiterate relative to the adjacent lot, Mr. Jensen, that you're aware of how we feel about that. We're clear.
We're clear.
Very good.
Okay, and this meeting is being recorded.
All right, good. Sounds
All
good.
right. All in favor of approving these variances, please say aye. We'll do a roll call. Sue Regera,
Aye.
Bob Wheeler,
Aye.
Paul McKelk, aye. Variances are granted on this lot.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Chris, before you take off, Chris,
Yes, sir.
is this negative determination something we can get a copy of or an email of?
Absolutely.
Just to have it on record.
Yeah, good idea, Bill.
Yeah.
Mr. Jansen?
It
Yeah.
probably got sent directly to Eric.
Now that you own lot 5, it's up to you, but normally there's a permit transfer, $25 fee and application, so that permit will actually be in your name. That
Okay.
way there, it's officially your permit. So just something to,
Oh, okay, great.
yeah.
Okay.
And also, I can be in touch with Jack or yourself, but on this lot 3, there'll be a $225 permit fee due and signature, but
Okay.
it'll be drafted based on tonight's approval and I'll be in touch.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, Bill. All right, thanks, everyone.
All right, have a
Thank
good
you.
night,
Thank you.
guys.
Good night.
Okay, do we have anything remaining for our regular Board of Health meeting? Sue?
I would like to propose to the board, since I have read all the meeting minutes for November 17th, December 1st, December 15th, and January 5th. I'd like to propose that we approve those meeting minutes.
I have no problem with that. I'll make the motion that we approve them. Do I hear a second?
I will second.
Thank
All
you.
in favor? Hello, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay,
Sorry, I was just making a note.
okay. One last question for you, Bill, unless you
Yeah.
have anything else. Did you have any contact relative to that autism
Yep.
conversation?
Yeah, I do. I spoke to the Operations manager, which is who I've met with in the past, personally, you know, when we were originally investing mass complaints, yeah, had a lengthy discussion. And again, you know, from their perspective, it sounds like they're following protocol. What I need to do now is talk to the complainant, because again, you know, the whole privacy HIPAA thing comes into play.
Yep.
So a business needs to do what they need to do to follow the guidelines, but they don't necessarily have to alert everybody when there's an issue. And just as a sidebar, you know, my kids are in school. If there's a positive in the school, we just get a generic letter. It doesn't say if it's a teacher, the janitor, a student. But if your child was considered close contact, then that small group is contacted directly for further action. So, you know, I kind of apply that to a business setting. Again, if you've had intimate contact or close contact, you're going to know about it, but not everybody will necessarily, again, to kind of protect privacy. So I will get back to the woman that hit
Yeah,
call.
and if you have any further conversations with management there, where they have at least one deaf client,
Yes.
you know, maybe use of face screens or the masks that open the mouth so that
Yep.
they can lip read,
Yep.
need to be purchased and implemented
Yeah,
there.
that's a good idea, actually. I'll mention that.
Because, you know, you just don't know who's going to test positive. And we just
Correct.
have to be careful. And I got to think that's a closed environment and potentially dangerous.
Yep. I will mention that.
Okay. Anybody have anything else, or do I hear a motion to adjourn? Oh,
No,
Sue,
not
yes.
yet.
What now, Sue?
Fine. The Board of Health, you see the message from our town administrator saying they're looking for the annual town report.
Yep, I saw that.
Right.
And I will try to contact our animal inspector and remind her tomorrow,
Okay,
report due. And then apparently tomorrow I will take care of that FinCom thing, but I really wish we were given more notice.
yeah, it seems like maybe the initial notice got forgotten or something, I don't know.
Yeah, or you and I are just getting forgetful these days.
Yeah, right, that's it.
Yep. And then I'm kind of curious how people feel about maintaining, since we kept the budget flat, how would everybody feel about keeping these current sticker, transfer station sticker prices the same for next year?
What do you think, Sue?
I think we were on track. I think we forecasted 140 and we had already brought in like 135 and that was in December. So I think we're gonna make 140. And I think we should maintain it. I don't think anybody can take another higher hit.
No, I don't,
Okay.
I'd rather roll the dice and have to go back and ask for money rather than raise rates at the transfer station again, 2 years in a row.
Well, I
think
wanted
that's
to bring
wise.
it up because then that allows me and or Donna to start working on the new stuff that we would release in July. Gives
Right.
us an opportunity to update everything and not be rushed.
Sounds good, Sue.
So that's the first step. And we're gonna think early this year.
Okay, let me jump in. Bill, we're good with you, so
All right.
have a good night.
Yeah,
So
you
it-
too. I'll be in the office tomorrow if you need me.
Okay.
Okay.
sounds
night.
good. And, I guess we're done.
Yeah, we got the annual DEP report that's due February 15th. And I requested the LA4 from the assessor's office. We need that to include that, so we'll be crunching numbers for the state. And that's all I have at the moment.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second the motion.
All in favor? Sue,
Aye.
Bobby,
All right.
all aye. Donna, thank you again.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Donna.
Welcome.
Have a good night, everybody.